This is every car lover's worst nightmare. Your brand new car burning to the ground in front of your eyes. But what makes it even worse is that this isn't just any car. It's a Porsche 918 Spyder. This was the most powerful, most expensive, and fastest Porsche ever made. It's part of the hypercar holy trinity, along with the Ferrari LaFerrari and McLaren P1, a trio of million-dollar cars that rewrote the rulebook on speed nearly a decade ago. But despite the 918 Spyder having the least power and most weight of the three cars on paper, it could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.2 seconds, nearly half a second faster than the other two cars, thanks to its nearly 900 horsepower hybrid electric drivetrain and all-wheel drive. It's also the only one out of the three to post a Nürburgring lap time, and when it did, it set the world record for fastest street-legal production car around the track. So this car was a really big deal. And with prices soaring to nearly $4 million for pristine examples, the only way I'd ever be able to afford a 918 Spyder of my own is to find one that needs a little bit of work.
Exotic car fans, avert your eyes. A rare and very expensive Porsche 918 hybrid went up in flames at a gas station last night in Caledon, Ontario. Gas ignited while the car was being filled. The car was worth over $1 million.
I managed to track down this car in Canada, and even before seeing it, I knew it was a worst-case scenario. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that rebuilding a car that burnt completely down at a fuel station is a challenge. But rebuilding a hybrid hypercar that now costs around $2 million to buy after it sat for a decade is an order of magnitude more difficult. So I immediately went on AutoTempest to research what I'd be getting into. So AutoTempest allows me, or you, to search nationwide across every major car listing site in one easy search. But you probably already knew that. They have just added something new though. I can now use their new price trends search to see that over the last several years, the Porsche 918 Spyder market has absolutely exploded. But it doesn't just work on hypercars. You can search any make and model and filter by anything you want. Transmission, body style, trim, and you can see right away what direction prices are headed and when is the best time to buy your next car. AutoTempest has been a wonderful supporter of my channel and projects over the years, so go try it out right now. It's totally free, and it's an absolute game changer if you're trying to buy your next daily driver or just window shopping for your dream car. You can check it out in the link in the video description below. And with the knowledge that this was the cheapest 918 Spyder that I could find anywhere, I talked to the seller and hopped on the next flight to Toronto to see it for the first time.
All right, it is super cold. I think it's like negative 16 or 18 degrees Celsius. Don't know what that translates to in Fahrenheit. It is colder than I have ever been. Well, I've been in a long time. But I'm super excited because in that building, I can't believe I'm saying this, is a very fire-damaged Porsche 918 Spyder. Let's go check it out.
Now this wasn't just any junkyard. I was at First Choice Auto Salvage, a family-run business that had been operating for over 40 years with a wide range of cars, from daily drivers that needed a bit of work to rare sports cars that needed new owners. And what I really liked is that they were incredibly upfront and didn't hide any damage on their cars, so you knew what you were getting with cars that were way below retail prices. Now I will admit, dealing with these guys was an absolute dream, but I was there to see a fire-damaged Porsche hypercar. And nothing could have prepared me for what I actually saw.
Oh no. Oh my goodness.
So here's what happened to this car. When the last owner was filling up at a fuel station, he, for some reason or another, mistakenly got fuel on the hot exhaust pipes, and the rest was history. Fortunately, the fire was put out before anyone was hurt. But unfortunately, most of the 7-figure hypercar was burned beyond recognition. It then sat for more than 10 years while investigators, insurance companies, and Porsche tried to find out what exactly happened. And because I'm the exact right kind of idiot that would buy a car like this, I was first on the list of people to contact when it came time to sell.
This is a monumental amount of damage. They don't tell you how much damage fire does until you actually see it, and it is insane. It is insane. Like, so this is the carbon tub. So the carbon tub is right here. This is the, it's called a monocoque. And then after this is the subframe, which is also made of carbon fiber. And that, you know, in order for this to get compromised, it needs to be something like 1,000 degrees Celsius. But you can see the gel coat is completely worn away. I can like almost push through this with my finger. It's not exactly the best thing in the world. The wheel melted. You have the suspension here, the suspension uprights. They're no good. And back here, this is where the ECU and a lot of the hybrid system was, but it's not anymore. Look at all the wiring. Look at what happened to the wires. You can see the bare copper wires and the filaments for the carbon fiber. It just came apart because they're under compression. And then when the fire happened, they just went, wow. So this is the back of the tub. And it's just, there's nothing there. Oh my goodness. Like, you could just push through everything. It's just soft. Everything is so soft. One of these went for $3.9 million. So this is a naturally aspirated 4.6 liter V8, and it's all the way in there. But I think since the fire was underneath the car as well as on top, then that V8 is probably not in great shape. But the intakes are actually on the bottom of the engine and the exhaust is on the top. So the exhaust comes in here and then it shoots out here. This is not usually supposed to open, but look at that. Yikes. Oh boy. Okay, so every single wire is melted. I see melted coil packs, which means that that engine probably doesn't turn because the metal inside has had some damage. This is such a shame. It's so crazy. See if the door opens though. Ooh, hey, door opens. Even more carbon damage here. 500 kilometers. It says true mileage unknown, but we can hazard a guess. This is also a Spyder, meaning that these roof sections, they're supposed to come off, not like that, but they're supposed to come off and go in the trunk. Oh, dude, this entire interior is just destroyed, completely and utterly destroyed. The seats are very similar to the ones in my GT3, but you can see they've seen better days. They could probably use a reupholstering. I think they might be able to be fixed, just like this carbon might be able to be fixed if you like recarbon it. But another thing is that this is weirdly, it's a base model. It's not the Weissach pack. And those tend to go for more money because they have like better aero and better brakes and stuff, but it's still multi-million-dollar car that this happened to. And it's a hybrid, so this is, well, that's where the charging port is. So charging port, I'm gonna go ahead and say it probably doesn't work. So this is where the fire was concentrated. And if you look at this, like, look, this is the door. It's like a feather. Look at that. Like, that's supposed to be super hard carbon. That's supposed to be super hard carbon. And honestly, I don't know how you fix this. If we were to fix this, we would have to consult with like material experts to make sure everything's good. Because pictures say one thing, but then you actually look at this and it's a completely different story. I mean, just take a look at that interior. It's so cool. It is so awesome. Have the big LCD screens in the middle and behind the gauge cluster. Has the little switch here for the hybrid and electric, and it looks so awesome. From this angle, if you squinted your eyes and then backed up about 500 feet, it would be all right. Like, it would be okay. It'd be like an okay car. All right, so this is gonna be my first time sitting in this 918. I can't get in the driver's seat because obvious reasons. Let's just pretend this is UK and this is right-hand drive. Oh, man. Oh, dude. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. There's actually a decent amount of headroom. Like, it's comfortable in here. It feels like the GT3 because the seat is essentially the same. I don't even want to touch the dust because this is 10 years of dust on here. The airbag is a little melty. Steering wheel is a little melty. Some of the gauges are a little past it, but maybe that's rebuildable. This is so much work. This is so much work. The fire melted the steering wheel, some of the gauges. Oh wow. But if you look over here, like this tiny little nub, that's the gear stick. Look at it. I'm in love with this car. I love the spec. I love the look of this car, and I love the story. I don't love what's directly behind me though. Also, cup holder. Look at this, you know? Has a cup holder.
Included.
Yeah, it is a little bit of an afterthought, which is weird for Porsche. But cup holder is right here, so in case you got drinks. So there's no real good way of getting out of this car. It's just kind of... But what I like, normal doors. It doesn't have the crazy dihedral whatevers. Still closes like a Porsche. I'm gonna see if maybe this opens up. Dude, look at this. So I'm used to seeing a lot of sand and stuff in my hypercar, so it's interesting that there's no sand here. What I think happened right here and right here is when the fire happened, firemen usually break apart the front of the car to get to what's known as a fireman's loop. And that pulls the battery connection, that pulls the power from the hybrid battery. And a lot of times they don't know where that is. I think they were looking for the fireman's loop, and sometimes they just destroy the front of the car. But this car, you can see, look, this is all one piece of carbon fiber. This one giant piece of carbon fiber, just like all of this is, and it's just been destroyed. So I happen to know a few prices for parts for this car. A rear subframe section is $96,000. That's just the subframe. That's not the monocoque. That's not anything attached to it. That's not any of the bracketry. That's not any of the hoses that attach to the engine. Just the subframe itself that the engine sits in, $96,000. Each door is about $30,000, and that is completely bare. It's a door skin. The quarter panel is another $40,000, and we would need two of them. The monocoque itself, if you can get it from Porsche, which you probably can't, it's about $250,000. That engine is another 250 grand. Each brake disc is about 10 grand. So you got $40,000 in brakes. What I've noticed is that we have the battery here. So the battery's out of the car, thankfully, and it hasn't exploded because, you know, on the P1, that was big mad. That was really, really exploded. But I don't know if that works. It probably doesn't, because you don't want to leave lithium batteries, you know, sitting for 10 years. So one of those, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's $156,000. This also has a hybrid system that incorporates the front axle and the rear axle. So there's two motors. The ones in the front, I assume, are okay because, I mean, it looks okay. The ones in the back, probably not so okay. We can get this running now. Like, just get a jump box. I feel like we're good. How do you even load this thing on a trailer? Like, realistically, how do you do that? Because I think it would literally fall apart if you tried to do that. Only one way to find out. Welcome to 3.5 months later. It's no longer snowing, it's no longer icy, and
this car is now mine. However, it's not going home right now because of one tiny issue.
Canada and the U.S. are now officially in a trade war. New substantial tariffs on both sides will be in place this Tuesday.
So we'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. They'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada.
He has implemented the 25% blanket tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Those took effect this morning.
And what this meant for me is that even though I paid a tiny fraction of what the car was originally worth, since I lived in the US and needed to get the car there, my new Porsche 918 Spyder project suddenly got a lot more expensive. But knowing this, I had an idea and got the car on a flatbed, as carefully as I could.
Okay. All right. That was painful.
I then wrapped it up so it wouldn't fall apart on the highway and delivered it to the other side of town, where I had a workshop waiting for me. Now this is still a huge gamble because this new tariff applies to every car coming into the States. But there is one notable exception. You see, if I bring the car over to the States as is, I get the full tariff. But if I bring it in as parts, I don't have to pay it. And honestly, if you look at it, it's a parts car. I mean, half of it is completely burnt anyway, but we have to prove that to the government by taking the entire thing apart. I'm gonna take the engine out of this, and to do it, I'm in a shop. I'm actually in the Vibrant Performance HQ. They lent me the shop for the weekend. It's a holiday here, and I have the entire weekend and maybe even Monday to take a Porsche 918 hypercar, $2 million car apart by myself. The first and only step when fully stripping a burnt-out car is removing parts until the burnt ones are gone, which means I definitely won't have much left to work with. I sprayed some of the very small bolts with rust penetrant, then removed the 918's titanium heat shielding and settled in so I can really see the mess going on at the back. Oh my goodness. This is the business end of the hybrid system. I think this was the ECU, the engine computer, and everything is melted. So it's all strands of carbon fiber. Look how they just come apart. It smells terrible, by the way. Why is it I always get cars that need wiring harnesses? There is a lot of good copper in here. I feel like if I sell that, it'll pay for maybe 0.2% of the cost of the car. Well, some of these wires are still good. Added bonus. There we go. Cool. So that's the back part of a 918, pristine condition. There's some heat shielding. Feel like it didn't do its job. Now, I thought that maybe the carbon fiber structure was okay-ish, but now I'm looking at it. That's not great. And also, you see where this attaches? This is the shock. It's not attached anymore, so I think the back end of this, where the engine and transmission are mounted, I think this is pretty well compromised. Oh, that's good. If I peel away the layers like an onion, I might get a good car underneath. So with any car project, it's important to make a note of where things go. But if things are this far gone, I think it's safe to say that no parts I'm removing will be reused. But I'm still keeping absolutely everything I can. Because if I've learned anything while working on cars, the second you throw a part away, that's when you need it the most. Taking off the removable roof on a normal car is pretty easy. Just one latch in the interior and it comes right out. But since mine aren't exactly pristine, they require a little more persuasion. On the passenger side, there's another coolant reservoir and the battery charging port, which actually seems in fairly decent shape considering it's made of plastic. The melted plastic shroud for the intake air filter is removed, and then the big red air filter itself. Now this confetti-looking thing is what's left of the strut mount, one of the strongest parts of the car, by the way, so you can clearly tell how hot the fire got here. It also put ash and soot all over everything, so I made sure to wear a mask and gloves and vacuumed as much junk as humanly possible so I didn't have to tell my pop I got the black lung. But even after this amount of cleanup, it was just the beginning of uncovering an absolutely monumental amount of damage on my 918 Spyder.
All right, everyone, welcome to episode number infinity of What Did I Get Myself Into? This is the cleaned up engine bay of my Porsche 918 Spyder, and it looks way worse than I thought, but also way better in some respects. So this is the engine, 4.6 liter naturally aspirated, makes about 608 horsepower. I think this one doesn't make anything because I don't know if it runs, probably doesn't. If you notice right here, the exhaust is actually on the top. It is a hot V engine, which means the intakes are on the bottom. They are a split system, so 4 cylinders there, 4 cylinders here, and it's a carbon fiber intake system. You'll see that when we take the engine out, but if we go back here, right sandwiched in the middle of the two is the E-motor. Sort of like it is on the P1. You can't really see it because there's a lot of melted plastic on top of it. And also there's this duct that goes from the airbox into here, also melted. And back here is the Porsche PDK transmission, the dual clutch. And I believe that stands for Doppelkupplungsgetriebe. It's also toasty. Weird how everything burned in this car. But what's cool about this is, you see that big hunk of plastic that has melted? That is actually the pan, which means that the PDK transmission is turned upside down in this car, which is very, very odd. I don't think that is like an off-the-shelf PDK transmission. I think that has different gear ratios or something. We'll figure that out. And we'll also figure out if that transmission works at some point. Not today, because we got a lot to do. But one bit of good news is the interior. Now, it is singed, and this may need some carbon fiber repair work, but honestly, the interior looks relatively unscathed. I bet you, if I just replaced the harness all the way to the back of the car, and I just put the key in, I bet everything here would work. I should probably replace that airbag too. That's a little melty, but everything here looks fantastic. And this car only had about 500 kilometers, which is 300 miles, which is, fun fact, the same as my P1. So if I have a 300-mile LaFerrari that went into a field or something, I'll have water type, fire type, and leaf type, which will give me all 3 broken hypercar Pokemon starter pack. That was a terrible joke. Now, one thing we absolutely have to do is remove the wheels, at least on the back, because when we take the engine out, well, the engine cradle away from the rest of the car, the wheels have to go somewhere. And I don't have the lock tool that we need to get these wheels off. And honestly, I don't think we can get this off anyway. But the brakes back here, I'm not going to say they're okay, but that looks okay to me, you know? I don't need to see any more. What I'm gonna try to do is, since the wheel has already been melted and most of the suspension has been melted, I think there's like 2 bolts I need to take off, and the axle will just come right out of the transmission, and then we can just remove this wheel and then figure out what we're gonna do for that wheel, because I think the wheel might be okay. The suspension's still connected to the car. The tire has, well, there are some tolerances in this tire. I don't think this tire is going to hold any air anymore, but that wheel could still be good. It's not good. It's furniture now.
Now, if there's anything I can learn from this, it's exactly how different materials handle heat. The wheel and control arms partially melted and became incredibly hard and brittle. because they're made of aluminum, which melts at 1,220 degrees Fahrenheit or 660 degrees Celsius. But the carbon fiber on the inner structure stayed intact, despite the epoxy gel coating that binds it together being burnt off. And fun fact, carbon fiber doesn't actually melt. It turns directly into a gas, a process called sublimation, and it does so at 6,600 degrees Fahrenheit or 3,700 degrees Celsius. The steel axle also survived because of its higher melting point, but every bushing, dust boot, and anything else made of rubber was basically vaporized.
Welcome to the business end of, one of the sides of the 918 Spyder. I have taken off a lot of this stuff, and it is just coming off in random chunks. This is part of the control arm. That's kind of cool. Another thing that's kind of cool is this. This is the rear wheel steering apparatus motor thing. And you'd think that this would be really, really expensive because it's on a 918 Spyder, but actually this is the same unit that's in every 911 from like 2015 on. So I can find this on eBay for about like $300-400 used. And that way we can save some money because we're going to need to. I thought, hey, maybe the carbon fiber structure, at least in the back, is savable. I don't think so anymore. I mean, look at this. It's just garbage. There's oil in here, the carbon's coming off. There's no structural like rigidity here. Like some of this stuff is a little bit, still solid, but honestly, I wouldn't feel safe putting anything in this, much less an engine. But take a look at this. This is the intake manifold, one side of the intake manifold, and it's made of carbon fiber, but that's not supposed to happen. She's a little crispy. Take a look at this door. It is now very bark-like, and you can actually peel it back and see the layers. Oh boy, that's good. That's glass. Look at that. That's all the things you don't want anywhere near your body. I don't know how this door is going to open because the entire mechanism is completely burnt. So maybe we just cut it off. I don't want to cut this off. It feels wrong. We're going to figure it out. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a jack underneath the car. Then we're going to jack the car up, probably put some dollies underneath it. I don't see any reason why we can't cut this thing in half and remove the engine. I think we're good. I mean, we'll have to cut some stuff off, but I feel like we're doing pretty good. I'm going to eat my words. That was a terrible thing. That was a terrible thing for me to say.
Now I'll let you in on a little secret. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is super exciting to me because this is one of the coolest cars ever made, and I would never, ever have had the opportunity to see one, much less take one apart down to the frame, if I didn't do this for a living. So if you guys like this kind of content, consider subscribing to this channel because I love sharing these crazy car stories and builds with as many people as possible. And if you want to be a supporting member of the channel, you can get perks like seeing videos before they're out to the public, signed memorabilia, and even private tours of my shops and upcoming projects. And everything goes to supporting builds like these. Now at this point, I felt like I had to be close to taking the rear carbon fiber subframe out, so I undid every coolant and vacuum hose I could see.
All right, let's see if there's any coolant left in this car, and nope. Sweet. I don't know what I was expecting. We got some coolant. Look. Wow, so there was still some coolant left in this car. So this is the good side. That's the good side.
You may have noticed that this side of the car has a radiator and the other doesn't, and that isn't a weird Porsche design. The other one literally melted. And while I'm thankful it's another part I don't have to take off right now, because it's a hypercar, the assembly costs somewhere north of $10,000, and the body panel it attaches to costs 6 figures easily. So I certainly can't afford to break anything on this car that's usable. So it's crucial that I take my time and be as careful as possible.
Now I think all the bolts are off. We still have a ton of lines connected here, but since we're just cutting a bunch of stuff off, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't know if there's anything else connected. I did not consult any sort of manual or really anything other than the bolts I saw. So I'm going to take a pry bar to it. No way. No way. Look at this. Look at this. 3, 2, 1. This is crazy. Can't believe I'm doing this. Oh, look at that. Woo. All right. This is how Porsche does it from the factory. All right, so there are 2 bolts holding on a air conditioning line, and I believe when I take these bolts off, the engine should fall out, hopefully not onto my arm, but it's okay because I got another one, and this is the important one. Listen to that Porsche quality. I'm okay. I think we're good. Let's go. Woo! Yeah! Yes! Hell yeah! Woo! Yeah! Oh my, hell yeah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we are Porsche master techs at this point. We are Porsche certified. We did this in a day? I didn't know what I was doing. And look at this. This is a $2 million automobile, and now it is cleft straight in twain. All right, I'm gonna clean up. And then I'm gonna see how bad this car is. It's probably really bad. So in all seriousness, this was something that on a regular 918 Spyder would have taken the dealership several days to do. The car's bow and stern were no longer touching, and that was exactly what I needed to start the process of bringing it back home to the USA. But I wasn't done inspecting my project car. I still had to find out if the $100,000 hybrid battery was still good after all these years. So I asked the most well-known and knowledgeable EV expert I knew to help me diagnose it. And when he wasn't available, I brought in Rich Rebuilds. I want to ask you what you think of my new project, my new little hypercar, because you like Porsches and you like
McLarens?
EVs.
EVs, they're okay. I've moved on. I probably shouldn't be here. Now, Freddie, I will say, I think this car was way ahead of its time. For what it was.
Yeah.
0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds 10 years ago was mind-blowing. Today, it's still crazy.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that they were able to do this without turbos, McLaren, I think it's awesome. Awesome feat. I think this is the #1 car in the Holy Trinity. I'll die on that hill, fight me on it. This is the one. I love this car more than anything else. I think this looks awesome. I think it's a work of art. I personally think you don't even touch it. Just put it somewhere and have it displayed as a piece of art. I think this is art just sitting here as it is.
So if this is art, then I should be able to sell it to some rich guy for $30 million as a write-off.
Well, but
that's how art works.
At the same time, didn't some rich guy sell it to you?
Listen, man, all right, there's a battery over there. There's a battery. Let's go check out the battery. Hi, we have a bunch of screws to take off and a bunch of screws up here at the top. And Rich is just looking at me like he's not a part of this.
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't have my correct linesman gloves on. These are a little bit thinner. They actually took the gloves at customs. They took my gloves at customs. Can you believe that?
They took your gloves at
customs? They took my gloves at customs. They said, nope. I don't know why.
We're gonna pretend like that's believable. So let's. You ever seen 2 men get electrocuted?
Dude, we're gonna be just fine. Like I said,
there's a lot of dangers on this. This one's in German.
There's only 2 dangers on it. I think you want to do your side.
It says high voltage. I'm reading this upside down. High voltage can cause what is it? Burns, serious, and death.
Death.
Yeah.
It said it can.
It can, but not that it will.
It will.
Okay.
It could.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, it's a little bit. It leaves a little bit to the
The
imagination. You know?
things that we were doing to the P1 battery were just unspeakable. I know that someone from McLaren was just like, what are these fools doing?
Well, here's the thing. The thing that Hurricane did to that P1 was also unspeakable.
That was a lot
so
worse.
I feel like what we did was just making it better.
That was nothing, yeah.
Yeah, this may actually get me a cease and desist from Porsche.
I think Porsche would actually like you doing this.
I feel like Porsche's not going to like me doing this. Oh, whoa! Look at that! Dude, that's so cool!
There it is.
That is dope! That looks brand new. There's nothing wrong with this battery.
It literally looks brand new.
That literally looks like it just came out of the factory. I'm not touching it.
You are 100% right, man.
This thing.
Do not touch this thing.
Oh.
You know what? I still think you should ditch the hybrid system and make it.
So dial 9-1 and on my mark, dial 1 again.
What I'm gonna do now,
Okay.
that's where I'm gonna put the multimeter and see if there's any juice on it.
So for anybody that is new to any of this, this is a high voltage battery.
Right.
It has been discharged for the better part of, I mean, more than a decade at this point, but you always want to treat these things
Like it's live, yeah.
as if it's live, sort of like a firearm. You want to always, it doesn't matter if it has bullets in it or not, you always want to treat it like
The
it's...
gun is always loaded. What in the heck?
Okay. Got nothing there?
Wait a minute, no.
It did something.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
270.
Holy
There's something in it for sure.
Yep, that was some
Oh,
voltage.
for sure.
270 volts. Now this is the rich rebuilds I know.
This is the, I know, once you start spreading them.
Where's your butter knife? We're about to take a Tesla apart.
With the battery fully charged, you would expect to see around 408 volts. But Rich's readings were very inconsistent and weren't reading anything except for tiny blips when the voltage would spike and then come back down again. And I'll also post the full extended cut of what we found on my second channel. What was becoming clear to me at that moment was that I'd have to get a new battery, despite the internals of this one being flawless. But then Rich had another idea.
So, for the heck of it, I decided, well, it was my decision, but someone suggested use a different multimeter. And I said, multimeters are always right. Well, guess what? 370.
370 volts?
Yeah.
That is nearly fully charged. Also, that's a bomb. That's like literally, I'm just gonna,
I
don't
literally,
touch that.
it was bizarre that I wasn't getting any readings before, but it's saying 370.
370 volts?
Yeah.
Okay, so this battery's good.
The exciting part is that I no longer have to deal with this thing. It's not coming to me.
It
I'm just gonna
absolutely
back
is
away
coming
slowly.
to you.
No,
it absolutely is coming to you. Okay, so
So-
basically I have to now rebuild the car and then put that in and then hopefully everything works and doesn't burn to the ground. Awesome.
Godspeed.
The hybrid battery still being alive after all these years was another massive win, so I felt like I had nothing to lose by taking apart the 918's aluminum rear bulkhead to see what was underneath. And after removing all the bolts, hoses, and whatever was left of the wiring, I found the fuel tank in surprisingly untouched condition. I removed the only 2 bolts holding the fuel tank straps in, disconnected the lines on the top, and then the fuel tank, which was still very full of what was certainly 10-year-old varnish, could slide right out of the back of the carbon tub. And since I wanted the tub to be 100% soot-free, I took off the melted leather trim and petrified urethane which used to hold the rear center glass in. I went over everything with a wire brush and then decided that I should get the chassis in the air to clean underneath, which proved a bit difficult.
I can see it doing it already.
Yep, it's already,
Yeah, it's already lifting off.
look at that, yep.
Yeah.
Oh. Back down. This is gonna be real loud.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Oh,
no, you already loosened it.
I already loosened that one.
Let's see how well balanced this thing is.
Wow. Look at all that tread.
Editor, please keep this part in. Keep this part of the video in. Look at that. It came like that.
Gotta do the shake test.
It's not going anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the underside of a Porsche 918 Spyder. Where are you going, Rich?
Oh, I was hoping I'd just leave, that's all.
Welcome to the underside of a Porsche 918 Spyder, and honestly, this looks really, really good. It doesn't even look like it has been on fire at all, not even a little bit. Everything here is carbon fiber, and you can see like there's a little air gap in here because the air kind of goes in here and then down there. And if you notice, this is not like a flat floor. It actually does like a little bit of a hump because there needs to be an air gap for, I'm guessing this. You can see that there's like standoffs here. I'm getting really geeky. There's a flat floor that attaches to here, and it gives a little bit of like an inch of air gap. I'm sure that there's a reason for that. I'm not going to demonstrate that reason because I don't know. But what do you think about this car?
I think it's airflow for the electric motor for sure.
Airflow for the electric motor.
Yeah, because I don't really see how it's cooled. I'm sure it's cooled in some way, but maybe.
Oh, it's definitely cool.
This is kind of interesting though. This residue right here. What do you think that is? You think it's a coffee stain?
That is a coffee stain. Yeah, this car has been drinking coffee. These giant carbon ceramic rotors. Look at this. Look at it. It's like a mirror. It's like a mirror.
It's like a personal pizza.
It's like a personal. That's a big personal pizza.
It's a big person.
Any pizza can be a personal pizza if you try hard enough.
That's right.
We can see that what looks like a transmission or a like a transfer case or something. This is actually the AC compressor. The AC compressor is a electronic unit, and it lives right here in the middle of the car. Then coming down here, this is where the battery would be, but the battery was taken out. I don't know where the battery is. I'm sure the battery is very, very expensive. The lithium batteries, what do they go for? Like something...
Big money. I mean, for McLaren, it's what, $3,000 for lithium battery?
Yeah, so this is probably $3,000 plus $3,000 plus $3,000. So yeah, this is where it goes. There's a positive and there's a negative here. And back here, the thing that's attached with zip ties from the factory, that's kind of weird. That looks like it is an air compressor. So that means our car has front lift.
Front axle lift.
Front axle
and
lift.
And it's air instead of hydraulic.
Yeah.
Like the McLaren. The McLaren takes like 9 business days to rise.
It does.
This one I'm sure is a lot faster.
It does take 6 to 8 weeks to have the front lift work. But coming back here, all the carbon fiber, totally fine. This is where the battery lives, and there is no sign of damage at all. And the only sign of damage is when you come out here, and this is a bit singed, and then you get, a little worse for wear. I think this is fixable, dude. I think there's nothing in here. There's nothing over there. Well, there's a little bit over there. But honestly, I think wiring harness, and some cleanup work, and then get a new one of whatever that is, and this car is ready to go. I feel like.
Yes.
I know, you know what I'm thinking.
No.
You don't know what I'm thinking.
Nope.
I think we should put 12 volts to here and then see what happens.
I would put 12 volts to the official jump post in the car.
Fine. Okay, all right.
So we'll do it your way.
Oh, no. Yeah, fine. Let's do it. Yeah, well, I was going to crawl under here and energize it. So we need to clean up some of the wiring up top just to make sure that we don't have a massive electrical fire.
I think there's a lot of copper strands that are just pretty much tied together at this point, because when the fire burned everything, it just wound all the wires together. So we're going to cut those back so we can see what we're doing. Anything that's kind of a melted plastic we get rid of. Do you want to go through the fuses as well, or you just want to send it?
I'll send it, and then if we need to replace fuses, we will.
Okay. I think this is going to be fine. I think it's going to be pretty upset. and look for the rear end of the car.
It's gonna be, where are my legs? I can't feel my legs.
Father, give me legs.
It's so cold.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should do that. And what's the over-under and you think the display turning on?
On display turning on?
Yeah.
35%.
Really?
35%.
What would make it 50%?
If you help me. Now here is a moment of truth, almost. I have the key. Look at the key. Look at this thing. It's just like a regular.
It's like every other Porsche key.
It's every other Porsche key, but this has been sitting for 10 years. Check this out. Still has battery.
I don't think that's the first time you've pressed that. I don't believe you.
It's not. I never said it was the first time. I knew that.
You're building up the drama like, oh my gosh, is it going to turn on?
I'm sorry if I have to be entertaining. We are going to put 12 volts to this guy right here. That is the battery post. And there are probably 10,000 fuses that are just blown or something. And Porsche has given us these extra fuses. That just comes with the car. Drexelmeyer. What's this called?
I don't like the fact that this is named Eliminator one bit.
Yeah, I feel like
that's not a good name.
I feel like little helper, you know?
Right, little buddy.
So what happens if we have? Well, it's not going to be electrical fire. If it is electrical fire, we just take the electricity out.
Yeah, we just undo it. We just start running. You want to do the honors?
No. All right. Something's going on. Something happened. Oh my! Look.
You okay?
Yes.
I can't see anything. I'm on
Yes, number 104. It says number 104. Dude, there's life in this car. If I do this. Oh,
it chirps.
what if I? Oh, no way! No way!
Start it and drive it.
Dude, I can't, but look at this.
Dude, this is gonna be an easy one.
This is so.
We're right.
No way!
You gotta be kidding me.
There's music. Actually, this says 2,700 kilometers.
Someone lied to you.
Someone lied.
Someone lied to you.
This says 2,700 kilometers. 2701. This doesn't seem to work. No, this doesn't work. Lights work? Yep. Oh, there's one. Yep. One works. I cannot believe that we. Bro, half this car is over here and it was burned, and we are. This is so crazy. This is so crazy, and there's not even a little bit of electrical fire. All right, I feel like that is the biggest win that I could ask for.
It's a huge win, personally, man.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
this is awesome.
This is so amazing. I think this rebuild is going to be super easy. Why did I say that? I'm not. Yeah. Stop it. I turned it off. Can it eliminate itself? So we do that. And we do that, right?
The eliminator never shuts off.
Cool.
It'll turn back on in a second.
I think it just shut off. Well, you just. So we have battery good, but you're going to still look at it.
Okay.
And see if you can charge it and what the cells are made of and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we know electrical system, at least in this front half of the car, good. Engine, possibly
It's
good?
definitely good. It's absolutely good.
Possible. Well, we don't know because I want.
Okay, let's be real. Think about this logically. Was the car running?
No.
So what's the issue? Like how? I mean, what's the problem? Nothing was running.
Yes.
Right. And there was some fire on the top. The coil packs didn't melt or anything.
No.
I think it should be good, man.
Okay.
Oh,
So
the car does have 2,000 kilometers on it.
yeah, it's high mileage. Now.
I'm surprised. Knowing that, I would have offered less. Can you go back and say, hey, this isn't. You need to.
I feel like I should get half off. Huh? Half off. Get it? Half off.
Yeah, I get it.
Get it?
With the long weekend nearly over, I had to give the shop back to the guys at Vibrant, and that meant I had to put the chassis, the engine, the wheels, and every broken part I took off my 918 on pallets so it could be picked up and shipped across the border. And if any of you are wondering, cars made for the Canadian market, like this one, also need to abide by US safety and emission standards. So the usual 25-year-old import rule does not apply like it would on something made for the European or Japanese markets. And with the pallets loaded up, strapped down, and wrapped better than any Christmas present I can imagine, my 918 Spyder was finally ready to head to its new home.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the culmination of all our work. The car is cleft in twain. It is, the back half is off of it. It is on a pallet, and now it is ready to hit the States, hopefully. I actually don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if they're gonna stop this at customs, and Rich is, where are you going?
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Come on, man.
Hi. So Rich has been instrumental in all of this. He's been helping out, and we've both been burning the midnight oil and making very inappropriate jokes off camera. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the guys at Vibrant and Bruno at Vibrant. Yeah. Here we go. No, Bruno has. Let me be very honest with you. He's treated me like family. Everybody here at Vibrant has treated me like family, and I'd love to work with you guys. This is an amazing shop, and you guys have an amazing set of people here, and really, they're all car people. They love cars. So I'll put the link in the video description below. But they have the best products. They you guys have no idea the stuff that we have brewing up.
It's been fun. It's been an amazing last couple of days. It just stirs something up, and it's been wonderful having you guys here. Hopefully you guys come back with a car that's a little bit more put together than this one, or maybe this one. We never know.
Listen, man, I don't know. So I have to go.
Say something nice about me.
He's very nice.
Like
this guy.
I really like your hair.
Thank you.
Okay. Go check out Rich's channel. It's Rich Rebuilds. Rich actually, he went to Harvard, and he also been on Joe Rogan twice. He's been on Joe Rogan twice.
Thank you.
I've been on Joe Rogan 0 times.
Thank you.
No, Rich has the most amazing channel when it comes to EVs, swaps, and not even EVs. You have a Hellcat minivan. I don't have a Hellcat minivan.
That was your idea. Remember I stole it?
Yeah, he stole my idea, but it's okay because you can steal people's ideas. It's fine. We're a little loopy here, but in the next video on this car, hopefully, this is gonna be in the States and in my shop. So I can't wait for that, and I can't wait to get started on my 918 Spyder. I can't believe I'm saying that. All right, see you guys later.